Detroit, Michigan traffic. Gotta love it. I am a good 40 minutes late for my pickup. I finally got a nice, not completely overnight run, but a good 500 or 600 hours worth. 547 miles. Pays $500, so I got ripped off a little bit on it. But I'd rather keep this fan moving and making a little bit of a nickel here, dollar there-ish, than not making jack diddly standing around doing nothing. So I took it, even though I'd like to make $1 a mile. I'm only gonna make like 85 cents a mile on this one, I think. Anyway, here comes some pretty lights for some more accidents and stuff, because people don't know how to drive around Detroit, Michigan. I better cut it off. Peace. It's, I forget what day it is. March 14th, 2015. I'm back at Bolt Express at the home. One of our home docks. Our main one that we go to orientation at. Because it's in Toledo, Ohio. I've already been to Mount Vernon, Ohio. In the middle of Ohio this morning is where I started. Then I already went to Michigan, up north of Detroit, to pick up a load. Or drop off a load, and now I picked up another load. And this one is going to Tennessee, so I'm going to wind up with about 800 miles, 600 of which I'm getting paid for. But I'm here to drop off paperwork from last week, since I'm driving by. Might as well save a postage stamp, because otherwise we have to do that or have to mail it. Looks like my load shifted a little. I'll have to tighten that up. But that's all I got going to Tennessee. Like I say, I'm here to drop off paperwork and then back on the road again. Tennessee overnight. My deliver at the drop-off point at 6 o'clock in the morning, and my GPS says I'll be there about 3. But that's, you know, give or take what the rest is, the rest that I take and so on. So, I'm going to have a long night ahead of me, but I just thought I would show you the new expansion building of Bolt Express. If you go to orientation, this will be where you end up going to in Toledo, Ohio. I'm just going to drop my paper off and hit back on the road. Peace. I just got off a long overnight load and then was sleeping this morning, but I came down from Michigan down here to Cookeville, Tennessee, with that small package I showed you on the last clip. Wow, I should have paid more attention to the map and less attention to the GPS, because the GPS had me turn off of 75 onto Highway 23, and then that got interesting from there, and the next 2 hours I spent going up through Kentucky mountain back roads in the snow and everything, and if I'd have been paying attention, I should have taken the extra 40 miles that it would have took to go 75 to I-40 and over, maintaining on the interstate instead of taking a cut across. But I decided to let things get interesting at 4 in the morning. I finally got there a little bit before 6, my drop-off time. They dropped the package off, and not an hour later, I'm in the bunk trying to sleep, and work calls and says, "What do I want to go back to northern Michigan?" And when she explained it, they said whatever package I brought had a bunch of different gears in it, and they're going to add a gear to like a motor system type of thing, which they did. They custom put a gear in there at that factory that I dropped it off at here in Cookeville. And then they were wondering, that customer was wondering if I happened to be still in the area to take it back up to northern Michigan, like almost 700 miles. Which normally I would do, but I just spent 200 or 300 miles the day before bringing a load up from Mount Vernon, Ohio to Michigan, and then that's where I picked that load up and went down here to Tennessee. And after doing all that driving, I couldn't hardly keep my eyeballs open. So an hour into sleep, and she calls me, and I told her that. I'm like, there's no way I can safely drive it. It's just not worth it. I mean, I wish I could, but she said she was going to check back with me later, and here it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon now. I'm going to go shower and get ready and call in again. I called in at noon, and nobody knows about the load. I don't know if they gave it away to somebody else or what. So I'm going to call again at 3 and see if I happen to get another 700-mile load right back up to Michigan. A different spot of North Michigan, further north than I was the first time. But to me, that kind of, I mean, it's not my money, so not my problem, but to me, to haul freight all the way down here 3 states to put a gear onto it, and all the way right back, so that it's 150 miles north of where it started, to me, that makes no sense. Why don't just send the gear up there and have somebody else put it on, but maybe only this factory can do that, I don't know. No idea, I just haul the freight, I'm not the guy in charge of the rest of it. But anyway, this is the rest of the update video. I'm still, as you can see, kind of tired. You can see my eyes a little bit, but I'm ready to roll after 4.5 hours of sleep. It'd be good for another smaller load, not really necessarily the 700-mile load. I'd take it if they paid good enough, but they better pay better than they did on this last 500-mile or 547 miles for $500. And then you take out the owner's portion, and then my fuel cost and food and expenses and stuff like that, and it gets down to like 180 that I made for all that night long up in the mountains. I mean, you should have seen the drop-offs. You know, if I had a dash cam someday, I'm gonna buy a dash cam and put it up there, and then I'll have the video footage of it, so I don't have to do that while I'm trying to drive that. But at 4 in the morning, thank God there was nobody else coming. But whew, the tiny little 2-lane highway, and it's snowing out, and there's a drop-off with no guardrail or nothing, and you just miles and miles down. You slid off that thing and I've been dead. Yeah, so yeah, I learned a couple of different valuable lessons last night. Number one, always check the map, not just to go by the GPS. Even if there's a longer route, like 40 miles around I-70 to I-40, would have been a hell of a lot better, even for 40 more extra miles, because I would have been easy interstate compared to that mountain road. When you're in Kentucky to deal with, learn that. And also learned to snack up on food. When you do these longer runs, you need to have food on there with you, or else your only other choice is fast food, because you can't really stop too much. They only gave me 2.5, no, I think it was about 3 hours extra on the load time last night, which by the time you do fuel and you stop a couple times for regular rest, room breaks or whatever, you make them kind of fast, but still it catches right up. By the time I got into town here, I had about an hour left till pickup, or till drop-off time, to rest up a little bit before I came into the drop-off point. And the other thing I have learned is most of the time when they say there's a pickup time and a drop-off point time, that's when you do it, because outside of that, you're going to be waiting forever. If you show up early, you're still going to be waiting. If you show up late, you're still going to be waiting. If you show up right on time, you might have a half a decent chance of getting loaded up and gone out of wherever the factory is, or if you're dropping off or whatever. It makes no sense to even try to show up early at some places. I mean, I'm still going to try, because if you can get offloaded earlier, the earlier the better. The sooner you can get to sleep, or the sooner you can get on another load or whatever. But all the loads I've done, I'm on load number 5 or 6 now. They've all been that way. Even the one I was an hour late for last night in Detroit traffic. I told the guy too, I'm like, the traffic and the accident outside on the interstate and everything, I'm gonna have to take the side roads. I can get up there, but it's gonna be a good hour. And he's like, oh, okay, they'll wait. Yeah, the supposed pickup time was 5. I was supposed to be there at 5. Instead, I got there at 6, and they hadn't even started to put my package that I'm supposed to haul together, because, I mean, they figure, the guy's late, they'll work on other stuff that they got going on at the factory before he shows up. Kind of thing. Had I been there actually at 5, I might have had a half a decent chance of getting loaded and out, but it wasn't too bad. I had to wait another 20 minutes. Got loaded, and down the road I went, and right back down to Ohio. I don't mind the driving part, but like driving on I-75, it seems like that's the only place they're sending me. Up and down 75. 3 or 4 of these loads so far. If they're not in and down load, they're just up and down 75. I think they are trying to keep me closer to the yard at Bolt for at least first couple weeks or something. Because I'm sure the offer I get later on, hopefully if I get a little bit later on at night or tomorrow, will be back up north, up to Michigan or up to Toledo somewhere. I think they're doing that on purpose. Instead of sending me east or west, they're just sending me straight up 75 south and north. For a while, which I guess is fine, but that same old scenery gets old. It was nice to see Tennessee a little bit this morning, and it's better weather down here. I prefer to stay down here just because I'm not having to freeze ass. I've had to freeze asses that whole last week. Don't get me wrong, I love my job. It just irritates you at times, the hurry up and wait, the people cutting you off in traffic. I mean, they see a bigger van or a truck or anything, and they're just like, screw right around it, and then don't even use the blinkers or nothing. It's worse than when I was driving my Chevy Traverse. At least then I only got cut off about half the time. Now, keeping up the same speed as I was driving in my Traverse, they still right around me and gone. I have noticed the trucks pull over a little more for commercial vans coming up behind them. They're a little bit more courteous, I guess, than they were in like a regular Chevy when I was in my regular Chevy Traverse. 2 or 3 times there could just be the right truck driver at the right time and right place, pulled over for you or whatever. But I mean, on the interstate where they're driving wrong in their lane, they don't have to get over, but they move right over and let you go by once they see the whole Bolt Express thing, and I don't know if they're talking about me on the CB or what, but I'll have to admit, in the portion of the route, I was hauling a little bit. I wasn't only going about 5 over the speed limit or so, but I was between the cities. I was trying to make up some time. But that's my latest of my update. I'm empty right now, sitting at a Walmart in Cookeville, Tennessee, which is right between Knoxville and Asheville, Tennessee. It's actually a decent spot. I saw factory after factory once I got past the mountain roads last night, so hopefully I'll get a load. They already tried to load me up this morning for a 700-mile load back up to North Michigan. But I said, nah, I can't do that. But anyway, that's the latest on this clip. I'll get this uploaded. Like and subscribe, leave comments, and we'll catch you in the flip. Peace.